It's firmly rooted in the county of Wexford and has become somewhat of an anthem for the model county. About a man's love for a girl from the banks of the Slaney, this is the story of Slaney Valley. On Sunday evening, the 23rd of January 1972, crowds flocked to Adams Town Hall, about 18 kilometres from Enniscorthy, County Wexford, to dance to the music of this band, Larry Cunningham and the Country Blue Boys. A few days later, the New Ross Standard carried a picture of the Wexford, Leinster and All-Ireland hurler, Padraig Kehoe, presenting Larry with a Waterford glass crystal trophy. But why? Well, just a few weeks before the dance at Adams Town Hall, Larry and his band had reached the #1 spot in Ireland with that waltzing ballad, Slaney Valley. The lyrics were composed about 22 years earlier by Padraig Kehoe's father, Padraig Kehoe. Here is Padraig pictured in 1937, when he was aged about 59. Also in attendance at Adams Town Hall was Thomas P. Kinsella, the man who wrote the music for Slaney Valley, and there was hardly a dry eye in the house when Padraig Kehoe produced a manuscript of the original song words, written by his father's own hand. It must be said, however, that Slaney Valley was first recorded by the Kinsella Family, a group from Bowley's Cross, Kilmore, County Wexford. Father of the family, Nick Kinsella, an accomplished traditional fiddler and former member of the May Glass Cayley Band, passed on his love of music to his children, namely Anne, Sean, Martin and Nick Jr. It was Kathleen Kinsella, another of Nick's children, who collected Slaney Valley and recommended it to her dad and siblings. Kathleen, a former member of the group, was then working as a ballad singer in Chicago. On the 26th of October 1969, Nick Sr., Nick Jr., Sean, Martin and Anne Kinsella went into the Rose Studios in Raphoe, County Donegal, and recorded the song for Rose Records, a label distributed by Pi. A harmonium-type instrument, probably an electric organ, was used to accompany the sibling singers, who also played guitar and bass. Slaney Valley was released a few weeks later, just in time for Christmas. When interviewed by the New Ross Standard, a family member told the reporter that the recording turned out even better than expected, thanks to the brilliant arrangement of Frank Murphy and the splendid backing of the studio musicians. On the 22nd of November 1970, approximately 6,000 people gathered at London's Royal Albert Hall to hear the Kinsellas sing the song at an all-star concert organised by the London Wexford Association. The purpose of the concert was to raise funds for Kennedy Hall, a temporary shelter for Irish people arriving in London in search of work. Also on the bill that evening was Derry's own Dana, who in March of that year had won the Eurovision Song Contest with All Kinds of Everything. An impressive £1,000 profit was raised that Sunday night, all of which went to support the work of the staff and volunteers at Kennedy Hall. In late 1971, Slaney Valley featured as track 1 on side 1 of the aptly titled long-playing record, the Kinsella Family album. and in November of the following year, the Kinsellas performed again at the Royal Albert Hall, sharing the bill this time with The Bachelors. Not bad for a group from Bowley's Cross, whose first public appearance was in 1964 at the Kilkenny Beer Festival. So what of the song's lyricist, Padraig Kehoe? From Glencarrig, Enniscorthy, in his early days, Padraig took a keen interest in the Irish language and the GAA, playing hurling with the Slaney Harriers and the Red Rapparees. And when a member of A Company of the Irish Volunteers, he played a prominent part in the 1916 Rising in Wexford. In 1919, Padraig married Josephine Hayes from Court Street, Enniscorthy. Apart from writing songs such as Ireland All Over and The Slaney Far Away, the model county man also wrote 2 one-act plays, When Wexford Rose, produced by the Abbey Theatre, and Ireland First. In 1933, Padraig was elected to Dáil Éireann as Fianna Fáil deputy for the Wexford constituency, and from 1938 to 1948 he served as a senator in Shannon Éireann. It was in 1950, when Padraig was aged 71, that he composed the words to Slaney Valley. And following his death in January 1959, an original melody was added by Thomas P. Kinsella, pianist, conductor and music teacher based in Enniscorthy. Padraig's charming lyrics tell of a man's undying love for his Storeen Bawn, his fair-haired treasure, his blue-eyed sweetheart from Wexford. He tells his Storeen Bawn that they will return to Ireland one day and set up home by the sweet Slaney side. Just 2 verses of the ballad were included on the Kinsella's Rose label recording, but another verse featured on the country-style version recorded for the Release label by County Longford's own Larry Cunningham. And so ends the story of Padraig Kehoe's Slaney Valley. Storeen Bawn, when first we met, I can see the roses yet, and the light that lit your happy eyes of blue. I can hear your sweet voice say, welcome as the flowers in May, as it did when first I whispered back to you. Will you come with me a store when the summer days are o'er and the rooks are winging homeward in the sky, where the mountains rise away o'er a field of gold and grey? We'll go home to Slaney Valley, you and I. Storeen Bawn, when you said yes, brimful was my happiness. Summer spread as near before on flying feet. Never shone a moon so bright on its starry coat of night. Never sang the thrushes so divinely sweet. Storeen Bawn, for years you've been in my heart its rightful queen, ever loving, ever tender, ever true. On our heart your smile did shine, gladdening all it glowed behind, as it did when first I whispered back to you. Will you come with me a store when the summer days are o'er, and the rooks are winging homeward in the sky, where the mountains rise away o'er a field of gold and grey? We'll go home to Slaney Valley, you and I. We'll go home to Slaney Valley, you and I.